She had everything people dream of: a loving family, a stable job, and friends who cared. Her life wasn't perfect, but it was peaceful. She woke up every morning grateful, with plans for her future, goals to chase, and a quiet confidence that life was going her way. But one thing about life is that it never asks for permission before it changes everything. One day, she received a message that her company was downsizing. Her position gone, just like that. No warning, no time to prepare, just uncertainty. At first, she told herself it was fine. She'd find something else. She was strong, determined, and capable. But weeks turned into months, and every "we'll get back to you" email turned into silence. The savings started to disappear, and the fear began to grow. Then came the moment that shattered her completely. One late night, her phone rang, and in seconds, her world collapsed. Her mother, her anchor, her best friend, her strength, had passed away unexpectedly. That was the moment she fell apart. She cried until her body shook. She screamed into the silence, asking, "Why me? What did I do to deserve this?" The walls of her small apartment felt like they were closing in. She stopped answering calls. She stopped leaving the house. Days blurred into nights. She barely ate, barely slept, and somewhere deep inside, she stopped believing that life would ever get better. But one night, something changed. She sat in the dark, staring at the ceiling, and for the first time, she didn't cry. She whispered to herself, "Not yet." 2 simple words. Not yet. It wasn't over. She didn't know why, but she decided to stand up. The next morning, she forced herself to get out of bed, take a shower, and go for a walk. It wasn't strength. It was survival, but it was a start. She looked around at the world. The same streets, the same people. But for some reason, it all felt different. She wasn't the same person who had given up. She began doing small things, applying for jobs again, writing in her old journal, reading motivational books, listening to positive podcasts. Some days, all she could write was, "I'm still here." But that was enough. It meant she hadn't quit. It meant she was still fighting. Then one day, while cleaning, she found a notebook that belonged to her mother. On the last page, her mother had written a note in her familiar handwriting. It said, "When everything falls apart, remember, you are the builder." Those words broke her again, but this time, they didn't break her down. They broke something open inside her, something strong, something alive. She started small. She got a part-time job at a bookstore. It wasn't glamorous, but it gave her a reason to get up every morning. Surrounded by stories of heroes, survivors, and dreamers, she started to believe in her own story again. Every paycheck reminded her that she was capable. Every customer reminded her that life goes on. Slowly, piece by piece, she rebuilt. She began taking online courses, learning new skills, freelancing from home. She wasn't earning much at first, but she was earning something far more important: her confidence back. Months passed. She started waking up earlier again, making coffee like she used to, and whispering, "I'm getting closer." She started saving money, setting goals, and dreaming again. Then one day, she decided to do something bold, something she'd always wanted but never dared to try. She launched her own small business. It was terrifying, but for the first time in years, she felt alive. She poured everything she had into it: her time, her effort, her heart. And slowly it started to grow. Her business began to succeed, but her biggest victory wasn't the income. It was the peace she found inside. She realized that losing everything had given her the greatest gift of all: freedom from fear. She'd already faced her worst days and survived. Nothing could break her now. She understood that sometimes Life is to take everything away from you so you can finally find yourself. People around her began to notice. They said, "You're lucky," but she wasn't lucky. She was resilient. She was proof that you can be broken and still rise again, stronger than before. Her story became an inspiration to others. She began sharing it, not to show off her strength, but to remind others that hope is not lost, not ever. Because life doesn't break you because it hates you. It breaks you to rebuild you better. Sometimes what feels like the end is actually the beginning. Sometimes the greatest pain becomes your greatest power. And sometimes rock bottom isn't the end of your story. It's the start of your comeback. So if you're watching this right now and you feel like you've lost everything, your job, your dream, your confidence, maybe even your hope, please remember this. It's okay to fall apart. It's okay to cry. But don't stay there. Don't let your story end in that chapter. Stand up, even if your legs shake. Breathe, even if it hurts. Take one small step forward, even if it feels impossible. Because you're not done yet. You are still here, and that means there's still hope. Maya's story is proof that no matter how dark it gets, the light inside you never dies. It just waits for you to believe in it again. If she could rebuild her life from nothing, so can you. If she could find hope in heartbreak, so can you. Life is not about avoiding pain. It's about growing through it. Every fall, every failure, every heartbreak. It all leads you somewhere better if you refuse to give up. So, if this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that no matter how hard life gets, you can always rise again, then make sure you like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and comment below. I'll rise again. Because your comeback story might be just beginning right now. And if you believe in stories that remind you never to quit, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Every week, we share stories of courage, resilience, and hope. Stories that prove no matter how bad it gets, it's never the end. Your story isn't over yet. In fact, it's just beginning.